Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode. Great, well, welcome to our Northern Powerhouse's business success story set of interviews. Today we have with us James from Mix and Twist. So James, welcome and thank you for spending the time to talk to us about your business. And perhaps just before we start, it'd be great for you to introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, what you do and how you benefit and what your sort of key target clients would be.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm James from Mix and Twist. Last year, we were a premium mobile cocktail bar company focusing on large scale events, something that needs a little bit extra with cocktails and flair and full mobile bar service. Obviously, last year we had to tweak that a little bit, and it was actually a week before the first lockdown in March where we did our first virtual cocktail masterclass. So we would send out a box of all the ingredients and kit and glassware, ship it to everyone's houses, and then we actually started on Facebook. So we started on Facebook, and then we've moved into larger corporate events on Zoom, and we've been running, thousands of boxes going out, hundreds of different masterclasses for people all over the world. So that's where we are now, virtual cocktail masterclasses.
Mate, that's amazing. That's absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to learn more. Funnily, but by not coincidence really, but one of our clients who's based in York has a cheese and wine store with a cafe behind it. Obviously the cafe shut immediately, but he went into online through Facebook as well, for online virtual cheese and wine tasting. So you get a box for a couple, 5 wines, 5 cheeses, and he does an event on a 8 o'clock on a Saturday night as a group event. So fascinating to see how things have developed for you. So obviously, one of the key focuses today is talking about the last 12 months and how the COVID outbreak has affected you. So what has been the key effect it's had on your business?
Well, it's a positive one from our side. So the Cocktail Masterclass in a Box product is actually 2 years old for us. So we built this 2 years ago. And as we were moving into larger events, we were still getting lots of inquiries for smaller parties, private parties, and we just couldn't fill on those sizes of events anymore. But we wanted to do something for them. So we thought, what if we could box something up, send it to them it was a DVD back then, or a USB drive or something, or an online click video. It seemed very, streaming now just seems so commonplace, but back then it wasn't as much. So we were thinking, we send it all over, they get their own fruit and ice, and they get everything else is in the box, and then they run through the video. Built it all, spent time, money on it, and then just never really got going. We got busy with other events, and so kind of sat there, literally in a box in the warehouse. And then this happened, and it was March, and we saw this happening. We got quite early signals of what was going on because we were meant to be involved in a few larger conferences in February, and they were just cancelling like a few days before, really sorry, this COVID thing coming over from China, we're not sure about. Well, it hadn't even hit the UK. They're like, we don't really want to be flying people in. We're not really sure what's going on yet. So we're going to cancel. And we're like, something's going on here. Yeah. We thought, people are going to do stuff at home. People are still going to be stuck at home wanting to do things. Other countries we could see from Europe that lockdowns were happening, right? So people are going to be stuck at home. People are still going to want to have fun. Let's get Cocktail Masterclass in a Box off the shelf. And we did it. And like I say, first on Facebook, it was a week before lockdown. And it was we started in a private group. So you'd buy the box, you'd join the private group, you get sent the box, and then we'd stream it. And we ran that for 13 weeks. Yeah. So first 13 weeks of lockdown. And we were there, and we just got so busy in the background with corporate events because, come June, all the companies are like, summer party cancelled. We need to bring people together. We need to lift everyone's mood. Everyone's worked at home. The world's gone to pot. How can we lift the spirit? So all these companies, and it was not the companies that were still working. So your cybersecurity companies and your business services companies and things like that. they were just Amazon's a client, which is pretty cool. So all these companies doing well, they were like, right, we need to reward our teams. And we got really busy through summer. We took it off Facebook and moved to the private Zoom rooms, and we just started shipping first nationally and then internationally. So it gave us this opportunity, and now we sat with this. So coming back to the original question, now we've sat with this new revenue stream that we can deliver for people across the world. So we've sent boxes to South Africa, to Asia, to US, quite a few to US, all around Europe. And now in companies that can't afford to we're almost a budget option. You can't afford to fly 20 people in from Europe and the US, put them up in a hotel for 3 or 4 days, feed and water them, and then send them back for a conference. Now we can do that online. An online conference is taking off. We'll do some cocktails for it. We'll do the team building. We'll do the evening do. And we want to keep this revenue stream. So it's allowed us to spend time building and developing something that we knew would work, but we just didn't have the time to develop out. So it's given us that chance. It's good.
Fantastic. I mean, I have to say, it's just wonderful. I guess seeing that you're in events, you're in hospitality and events. I guess I assume there might be a slight downside to the story, but so my next question was going to be what the biggest issues you've had to overcome. I'm guessing there aren't many, but no,
it's more operationally. So getting the amount of stock in. So the record week that we had was 950 boxes we sent in 1 week, which was just absolutely insane. So to sourcing all the products, and other companies were starting to do similar things. So a cocktail shaker, people were fighting for cocktail shakers, and luckily we had a really good supplier that we've been using for years, and so we built those relationships. So we were quite high up the pecking order to get hold of the stuff. We managed to fulfill on it all, but we actually had to stop selling as well. Capacity, I suppose, was an issue. We had to stop selling before we even got to December. We were sold out. So 3-4 weeks before Christmas, and we were sold out. So we probably could have doubled revenue if there was the capacity to, but I don't think there were just not that many kits in the country, and there weren't that many hours in the day.
Yeah. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. And so what sort of adaptations have you had to make for those reasons?
A lot of our processes have managed to stay the same. We've converted the unit and office to studios, which is quite nice. We already had space to change, but we've got, so there's other stuff going on in the unit today. So I'm stood in one of the studios here. Now instead of like a storage area or like a meeting room type thing, we've just got studios around us, which is but it's good for video calls.
Oh no, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So when you're saying that, if you send boxes to a group of people, then is it a live stream? You're literally saying, you get you or one of your team taking everyone through the process?
Yes. Yeah, brilliant. Exactly. Yeah. So we've got five of us that do the masterclasses. We had access to hundreds of bartenders that were fantastic for events, but we were national, so it was all over the country. So we had to get a local team that were not only great bartenders, but also were great at presenting and be able to bounce off an audience. And it was a slightly different skill. And also we could only fit 5 studios in the office unit anyway. So we've kept it a core team of 5. And those guys are just, absolutely brilliant with people. We'd send them the link. They run through the masterclass. We get them drunk on screen, the teams, and then usually leave them with a shot. We have a cocktail shot, and then they would stay on as well for the evening. So they, especially the Christmas party. So we'd kind of get the party going and then leave everyone to carry on drinking after.
Oh, it sounds just great. So how do you see, obviously Christmas was there for a brilliant time.
Yeah.
And how does the rest of the year pan out for you in terms of, obviously we've got lockdown, which I would imagine would be good, but what are your views, obviously, when we get back to something like normal? Yeah,
so I think first quarter is going to carry on pretty similar to how it has been. Nowhere near December level. I wish it was, but I don't think it will be. But quite steady, maybe sort of the levels that we were experiencing through summer. And it just depends on the vaccine rollout. So when this switch happens, but ideally, it's quite a quick switch from the, first maybe April, May, and then boom, everyone's vaccinated, back to big events. That would be the dream. I'm not betting on it because anything could happen, but that moves straight into, you know, we're at a wedding venue, we're contracted to a wedding venue, we've got 30 odd weddings there. This year it was backlog of last year into this year, and it will be the first launch year, so we're expecting that to get busier and busy. So I want that to go through. We've got large corporate events, summer parties that are in the planning process. You know, are they going to go ahead or not, or are they going to be a 2022 one? So, but if those events don't go ahead as we'd like them to, we have still got the virtual to offer. So the budget's going to be there. The need to bring people together is there, and we can fulfill on that.
So perfect. So really, it just sort of doesn't matter. It's like if we're lockdown is virtual, you know, out of lockdown is live. It's brilliant. It's somebody told me, and I only clicked this recently, and but somebody we talk about the brand walls. If you're familiar with the brand walls, and there's two key types of product they sell that are very different. And I don't if you're sort of ice cream, and sausages. They're not quite so big. There's obviously a lot more sausage makers, but they were very well known going back a few years for sausages and ice cream. And when you think about it, it doesn't sort of make sense. There's no but the reality for them and their business was ice cream in the summer, sausages in the winter, and then it makes sense.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the season is or what the situation is. They've got the product that's most interesting. So great. So we'll go one from the other. Hopefully, I guess for your perspective, maybe a slightly smoother. Maybe even a phase progression might be good for you specifically if you've got to manage the whole thing. But I'm happy with it. I think we were talking about it earlier. The challenges, that's what you got to love in business, isn't it? So let's see what 21 holds, and we'll just we'll crack on through it and figure some stuff out. And the more challenges, I think, the more you're allowed to be creative as a team. The team that we've got, the ideas that we've come up with, we're just now working on. So we've had our level 1 masterclasses that were really successful. They worked really well. It's the same structure as we used for our live masterclasses, and it builds excitement and it builds interaction and get the endorphins going, and it just works so well. For level 2, so some of those people last year have been in 3 or 4 of our masterclasses, so they've done all the different menus, same style, they've done all. So we need to think, and we're doing some really, I'm not going to say it out loud now because I know it's going out on social, but really, really cool, interesting stuff that's proper exciting. So for the people that have done level 1, they can move on to level 2 now. And we had it's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. We had some samples the other day to trial it out, and it was good, exciting, more activity and more, getting into the bones of it, but keeping it really fun and interactive. So, right. So obviously the next question is very obvious for me. So how long does it take me to do level 1 so I can get to level 2?
I could book you a 2-hour slot, one after the other, if you want to go hardcore.
Okay, I think we're going to have to make that happen. I'm intrigued completely. So
it's good.
Sounds absolutely brilliant. And we must talk afterwards. There's a couple of people I think would be good to introduce you to. So, wow, this sounds great. So thinking about, obviously you had the product, the service on the shelf, as it were, so you're sort of ready to go. But so thinking about specifically going into lockdown, what adaptations did you have to make? Maybe even, potentially to your leadership style, communication, those sorts of things. I'm guessing, I may be guessing wrongly, that you might have had to go a bit more remote with team. Yeah,
so we did the work from home thing. The warehouse is big enough for the small number of people that we need in here. We're used to dealing with big weddings and loads of people in the warehouse. So it's we can get a couple of people in, packing boxes, very safe and distant. The coolest thing, and it didn't really come true until the morning. So we hired an event manager during lockdown.
Yeah.
It was October. We hired and went through the process, second stage, third stage, 4-stage interviews, all on Zoom, Zoom calls. And then she started, and as I could see on the CCTV and the camera, a car pulled up and I went, I'll go down and meet her. And I realized I've never met this person. And I've hired. And I was like, well, that's a commitment to virtual events working, virtual communication working. I've hired her, and she's fantastic. She's been here for 3 months, 3.5 months, something. And she's absolutely incredible. And it was before she walked in that door, already hired, done, first thing. And we couldn't even shake hands when she walked in. Just like, hi. But yeah, I'd never seen it before in real life. I'd never had that in-person view, but managed to hire, and it worked really well.
Brilliant. It is weird, isn't it? I mean, we've hired ourselves. We've helped clients hire. We've taken. I mean, the interesting thing for me was we've taken on quite a few clients over this period as well. And I remember one came in. This was sort of after the first lockdown. He will have come in, just said, "Can I come in?" And same as you, I just realised I'd never met him before, and I did say literally, "You're a lot bigger than I thought you were going to be," because there is an element of where you sit with a screen sort of has an impact of how the brain perceives size, and he was quite a big bloke, whereas and it's just weird. So you're right, but it's quick. So it's amazing how quickly we get used to that situation.
Yeah.
We were interviewing somebody else a couple of weeks ago, and he's literally bought 5 businesses in lockdown. So he's bought 5 businesses, and 3 of them he's never been to. So 2 he did visit, but 3 he never visited. So everything was done virtually, all the due diligence, and you just go, yeah. I mean, it really makes things really interesting, and I guess when we look to the future and thinking about the adjustments we made and had to make, what ones would you keep going? Because I know we're going to do a lot more work on Zoom. I mean, I think most of our coaching and our sessions will continue on Zoom. We're going to replace the big thing about what we do, and I would imagine there's an element of this with you guys, is building a community of people. So, we like the social side. But from our perspective, and I've talked to a lot of clients about this, delivering the coaching services and the training services, things we do, is actually probably more effective online because we can bring things up, we've got materials, but we want to replace the social element. Rather than bring people together for an event, do business and social and chat over coffee, we can actually just have a social event. And it means we can get to know people even better, because it's not a cursory chat over coffee. It's let's all go in for a meal together, or come to an event with you, and it's so there are things that this is the situation has made better. So what things that you've changed will you keep doing, permanently?
Yeah, I think the ability for the team to work from home when they can. So if you're office based, that work from home, it's good to have people in. I think it's a little bit easier to bounce ideas when you've got a brainstorm day type thing. You got a whiteboard. It is a little bit easier, I think, if you're in the same room, what I've found. But general day to day, it's not essential. You can bounce ideas between 2 of you, just like you would over the phone. Absolutely fine. A big one, I think, meetings with clients, or maybe not meetings. Yeah, in between meetings and calls will be done as video calls. So I've noticed now, instead of you have a client call, you're organising an event, maybe past the first sales call, but you're getting into the bones of it. Now it's just, I'll send you a Zoom link. And it's just so common. I think keeping that up, that seeing each other on the screen, having a chat, going, share screen this, that's got to stay. That's got to stay. And it saves you that half an hour journey either side as well. It saves you an hour drive time, both of you. It saves you an hour drive time, and you can just have that chat through. You've got all the resources there. I think that's definitely going to stay.
I totally agree. I think if you take the sales process, there's an initial contact, then there is a qualification process, and a lot of people feel obliged to go and see the person to qualify them, but you can do this on here. So the basic look, we have this discussion. At the end of this, we'll decide whether or not we want to do something together, in which case we may meet. But it's okay if we don't. But let's have that discussion online, and then it's saving time for both of us. Whether you come to me come to you. And it just makes sense, doesn't it? And it even, I'd suggest it even makes the sort of sales process, if you like, really quite clear and grown up. It's like the initial chat is, do we want to probably do something? And if we do, then obviously we'll invest more time maybe together. But if we don't, that's okay. But let's have that. And it's I think it makes people more comfortable with the sales process. We do a lot of work on sales, and the biggest challenge most people have is dealing with the uncomfortable nature of it for most people. If you get over that, then it's just grown up conversations, and we've got it. Do you want it? Great, let's do it. So brilliant. Oh no, that's great. So goodness, what an exciting ride you're having at the moment. So I'm interested. Just we've obviously gone. We had the good news before Christmas about the vaccine, and even better news about the speed of rollout. the bad news for many people was going back into this third lockdown. But what's your view of the third lockdown?
It's I do feel for the majority of people's mental health with this third one. Like, I've just seen a lot of positive people that I know that have been working from home and stuff, but this third one, it's taken a hit. My partner at home, she's like, I'm pulling my hair out now. I'm ready to go back to the office. My friends that have been working, and at least they've been working as well. People that have been furloughed are even a tougher position. I'm not, a lot of the bar teams that, would work events for us, they're just sat there and they haven't even got a purpose now. At least all right, the people that are working, they're stuck at home, but they're working. Yeah. And it was just, I felt it, I follow a lot of them on social, and there was that pull down of like, oh, again, we've got to go through this. So that I felt a lot for people with that. And I do, for that reason, really hope we get the vaccine rolled out as soon as possible. And at least it's that hope that it's a matter of months now, rather than that complete unknown that, the back end of last year when we were going into the second lockdown, it was, who knows what's going on. But yeah, I think now there is that light at the end of the tunnel, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think, that it is, a statistical fact that we will be clear. We will have a level of, we're not clear of the vaccine, but we will be safe for us to mix again.
It's heading there, yeah.
Within a matter of months, not years. So that I think that's the key thing that I feel we all need to sort of hold on to, is because I've been talking to a few people over the last few days, and the lockdown isn't affecting us, my business particularly badly, but I felt like, I think most people felt that, in the pit of your stomach. And it's a subconscious emotional reaction. It's not necessarily a logical reaction. And it's using then the logic to go, actually, this is okay. It's going to be a term period. And using evidence around us, talking. I mean, it's great doing these interviews because I talk to people and they go, no, it's A, not a problem, or B, it's brilliant, and so there's so many good things that can happen out of it. So it's just sort of using our logical brain to start to reprogram our subconscious brain to not have the jolt.
Exactly.
Great book, The Chimp Paradox, that talks about the subconscious part of our brain being the chimp that sort of reacts in the fight or flight, and it's starting to program that to be called comfortable.
We've got to seek the opportunity as well. We've never in a time have we had enough time to be able to do something new and seek a new opportunity. And like we did with the box, we were given that, and the gift of time. How many years have we all spent running around? 100%. And when on the busiest years, they fly by, and you're like, oh yeah, we did well, but like, what even happened? It was a blur. And now we had this stop, brakes on, the world stopped, and it gave you that. It was like a fog cleared, and take this last lockdown as an opportunity to think and what's the next direction, because we will be back to a level of normality in a fraction of time when we look at a whole life.
Yes.
So yeah, let's take the opportunity.
It's funny to say that. I was told some time ago, and I've decided never to find out, just in case it's not true. But there's one of the Chinese dialects. The symbol for problem has two parts. One is challenge, and one is opportunity.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I love that. Yeah, you might probably fulfill, but and I just think it's bang on, isn't it? It's finding that opportunity in the challenge. And I've said to many of my clients, in terms of whatever sector, the benefit for the stable, strong businesses is everything's up for sale right now. Whether it's other businesses or whether it's customers because our competitors aren't serving them. There is so much opportunity for people that choose to have a positive mindset about how it can be great. It's different. I mean, let's be quite clear. It's different. It's sometimes difficult to have that mindset, but for me, it's like, what would you choose? What would you choose to have a negative mindset, or choose to have a positive? And whatever the answer is, just have that mindset and crack on.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, this is great. So, what challenges do you see, if any, moving forward?
Well, it's just I think normal business challenges. I think we knew what we were doing at the start of COVID, and we moved fast on it, and it worked for us. And now it's just sales, marketing, keeping the operations high, keeping that customer service. I mean, throughout Mix and Twist, from like day one back when I was a sole trader starting out in 2012, I knew the customer comes first. Like it's all about the customer. It's their experience, especially in events as well. It's that the experience is everything. It's that there's no, and I see it in some other businesses, in some other industries even, you can move a deadline. Oh, I can't get that piece of work over to you. I need to move it. Not in events. Not in it. You've got a start time and you need to be there and you need to put that experience out there. So we spend a lot of time building the experiences out, and it's the subtle things behind. It's not just the simple bars and glassware and cocktails and stuff. It's the little things that we do throughout the full, saying hello to Mix and Twist, to the follow-up call, what we can do at each point to build that experience. And yeah, so it's just, for us, it's focusing on those areas moving forward.
Brilliant.
Just doubling down.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So what would you say you've learned about yourself over this last year?
I love challenges more than I thought. I think back to how when the world was crumbling and every single event cancelled and it was all, and I took note of how excited I was. I'm like, am I a bit weird? I was way more, like, we had 30% growth last year. We did the year before, 2019, we had 30% growth. We're doing these. We'd never done big 1,000-person events before. We did 5 big 1,000. They were epic. I was like, yeah, it's good. It's moving. But I was like, what's the big challenge? I tell you what, there's nothing like turning your world upside down to really get you excited.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I like the biggest challenges. I think I can get my hands on. So that's probably next steps for me. What else is insane that I can get hold of?
So I guess that makes all the sense. So just then looking just to bring it together, and perhaps the question, looking to the future, the longer term future, what would be, I'm trying to think the book it came from, but what would your big, hairy, audacious goal be?
We've got 2 other things. Again, I can't really talk about them right now.
Okay,
We've got 2 other things that would take us into different industries, but with our style. So the drinks and event style, but in different industries. And if they kick off and if they hit where they can, and where other, even just small companies in those industries are at the level that they are, is very exciting. So that's, yeah, there's some cool stuff. So stay tuned for that.
Brilliant. Well, look, with your permission, James, it will be great to come back 6-12 months again and just, then you can tell us exactly what.
Yeah.
and how you're going, if that's okay. I'd love to catch up and just see how your growth is progressing. Because I mean, my main reflection is with an attitude that you have, then it's just certainty that you'll get wherever you want to get to. So thank you so much for spending the time today. It's been
thanks for having me.
Been absolutely fascinating. Any last thoughts from your perspective?
I suppose I think the theme of this has been positivity, and you just got to keep it positive, and that can do wonders. Really can.
I totally agree. I'm a big one for quotes, and I've picked quite a few up over the last sort of year. And Henry Ford, going back to obviously the founder of the Ford Motor Company, was my favourite one for him. Is whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And I think that says it all pretty much in terms of mindset, I think. So thank you so much, James. And I look forward to it. So hopefully we'll catch up with you in 6-12 months' time, and we'll see how things are going.
Amazing. Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below, and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.